Good morning, children. Hope all are fine. So let's start today's class. By morning on January 3rd, the pumps had the water level sufficiently under control for us to take 2 hours rest in rotation. But we still had a tremendous leak somewhere below the waterline, and on checking, I found that nearly all the boats' main rib frames were smashed down to the knee. In fact, there was nothing holding up a whole section of the starboard hull except a few cupboard partitions. Here, actually, all that problems it started the previous evening 6 p.m. and now it's January 3rd morning. Okay, and now they could control the water level in the ship because due to the help of the pumps, they could control the water. Okay, so the water level is sufficiently under their control, and everyone could take 2 hours rest in rotation. But there was a tremendous leak below the water line. Okay, and while they checked, they found that the boat was almost completely damaged. We had survived for 15 hours since the wave hit, but Wavewalker would not hold together long enough for us to reach Australia. I checked our charts and calculated that there were two small islands a few hundred kilometers to the east. One of them, Isle Amsterdam, was a French scientific base. Our only hope was to reach these pinpricks in the vast ocean. But unless the wind and seas abated so we could hoist sail, our chances would be slim indeed. The great wave had put our auxiliary engine out of action. The ship is in a very bad condition and it's in a very bad shape actually, and they are sure that the ship would not hold together long enough for them to reach Australia. So they wanted to reach Australia, but it's not possible for them because the ship it's in a very bad condition. And he checked his charts and he came to know that there are two islands near to them. So one of the islands, Isle Amsterdam, it was a French scientific base. So actually at present the only hope of that people in the ship was to reach the pinpricks in the vast ocean or to reach these islands. But for that also they need the help. Whose help? Yeah, that weather condition it should become less intense. Okay, the sea and the wind it should become less intense. Then only they can hoist their sail. But here, as their supporting engines were also damaged, the chances of the ship to reach the destination are actually very low. On January 4th, after 36 hours of continuous pumping, we reached the last few centimeters of water. Now we had only to keep pace with the water still coming in. We could not set any sail on the main mast. Pressure on the rigging would simply pull the damaged section of the hull apart. So we hoisted the storm jib and headed for where I thought the two islands were. Mary found some corned beef and cracker biscuits, and we ate our first meal in almost 2 days. So here, after pumping the water out continuously for 36 hours, they took a sigh of relief. Now it's somewhat okay. But only a few centimeters of water was left to be pumped out of the boat. Okay. And they hosted the storm jib because the main mast was actually already destroyed. And they had their first meal in 2 days. Some corned beef and crackers. And but our respite was short lived. At 4 p.m., black clouds began building up behind us. Within an hour, the wind was back to 40 knots and the seas were getting higher. The weather continued to deteriorate throughout the night, and by dawn on January 5th, our situation was again desperate. So here that their relief actually at present they are relieved from all that, so they are feeling somewhat comfortable, but now they realized that their relief actually it was short lived because what happened again, yeah, again the situation became very worse. Okay, the weather soon started changing, and again the black clouds took over by the morning of January 5. When I went to comfort the children, John asked, "Daddy, are we going to die?" I tried to assure him that we could make it. "But Daddy," he went on, "we are not afraid of dying if we can all be together. You and Mummy, Sue and I." So as the situation is very dangerous, he wanted to comfort his children. So when he went to comfort his children, his son Jonathan, he was only 6 or 5 years old. So he told him that he did not fear death as long as they were all together. I could find no words with which to respond, but I left the children's cabin determined to fight the sea with everything I had. To protect the weakened starboard side, I decided to heave to, with the undamaged port hull facing the oncoming waves, using an improvised sea anchor to heavy nylon rope and two 22-liter plastic barrels of a 6-year-old boy's words. These words actually filled the narrator with a determination to fight the sea. Here actually the narrator continued to struggle because he wanted to protect the weakened starboard side. Okay, because if the wave hit again that side, it is obvious that the ship would sink. That evening, Mary and I sat together holding hands as the motion of the ship brought more and more water in through the broken planks. We both felt the end was very near. So that day, the narrator and his wife, they sat together holding their hands because they are sure that their end is near. They are going to die. Okay, because the water is getting in. Okay, so it means that they cannot control the water level in the ship. But Wavewalker rode out the storm, and by the morning of January 6, with the wind easing, I tried to get a reading on the sextant. Back in the chart room, I worked on wind speeds, changes of course, drift and current in an effort to calculate our position. The best I could determine was that we were somewhere in 150,000 kilometers of ocean looking for a 65-kilometer wide island. This situation also, yeah, they survived. Okay, Wavewalker rode out. It means that Wavewalker survived. It survived the storm, and by the morning of January 6, the wind also stopped. Okay, so the narrator, with the help of the charts and everything, he calculated a lot of things, and he came to know that actually he was looking for a 65-kilometer wide island. It means that the island is only 65-kilometer wide, but at present they are in a 150,000 kilometer wide ocean. So it means that it is very difficult for them to find out the island. So here actually they already lost all their hope. But still, if they find out that island, they could survive. That is the situation now. While I was thinking, Sue, moving painfully, joined me. The left side of her head was now very swollen, and her blackened eyes narrowed to slits. She gave me a card when she had made. On the front, she had drawn caricatures of Mary and me with the words, "Here are some funny people. Did they make you laugh? I laughed a lot as well." Inside was a message, "Oh, how I love you both." So this card used to say, "Thank you and let's hope for the best. Somehow we have to make it." While he was calculating the exact position by working on the wind speed and all, or otherwise he was actually brainstorming. He did not know what to do and all. So his daughter Sue, she came and she gave him a card. Okay, actually Sue made that card. And through that words actually she expressed her love and gratitude towards the family. Here we can understand one thing, that both children, if it is you or if it's John, both of them are supporting their parents. Morally, they are supporting their parents. So this is enough for today's class. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.